Hey guys, Jocelyn here with Fantasia Elegance. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to make 3 different styles of fancy decorative hook clasps and their matching loop ends. And these are a really great way to add some fancy flair to your wire-wrapped pendants and bracelets. So to make all of these styles, we'll just be using some 20 gauge wire, and I'll be using sterling silver from Rio Grande. You can use any kind of wire you like, as long as it is 20 gauge, round, dead soft. And for one of these styles, you will also need some 24 gauge, round, dead soft wire. And of course, for the beaded one, you're also going to need some beads. So on mine, I'm going to be using 2.5, 3, and 3.5 millimeter sterling beads from Rio Grande. And these are the item numbers on them. If you want to key those in at riogrande.com, you'll get the exact same thing that I have here. And as we get started, I do want to let you know that I have in the description section below a complete list of the tools and materials I'm using, as well as the specific brands of tools and where you can purchase them. People often ask that, so go ahead and check out the description section below if you're curious. But let's go ahead and first start out by making this beaded design right here. For the hook and loop clasp, we'll make that first. So go ahead and pull out your 20 gauge round dead soft wire. We're going to cut some lengths of that. So for the hook portion, we're going to cut a 2.5 inch piece. And for those of you in metric, that's about 6.6 centimeters. And then for the loop clasp portion, we're going to cut 3 inches. So I'll go ahead and do that right now as well. And again, that is about 7.8 centimeters. And go ahead and take the shorter piece first. We're going to make the hook first. So to do that, we're going to take some round nose pliers, and gripping this right on the end, I'm just going to put in a little loop here. Just like that. And you might want to refine this a little bit with some chain nose pliers, just to make sure it's nice and tight. Then we're going to swoop this around to make the hook portion of the clasp. So we are making the top portion there, just like that. And at this point, I'm going to hammer out the little loop we made and this portion of the curve, and we want our beads to sit on this portion right here. Again, just showing you what we're working towards. So I'm going to try and hammer it up until the point where the beads are going to sit. And of course, when you hammer, the wire gets deformed a little bit, so we will need to reshape that little loop. That's no big deal. And now we're going to start putting on our little beads. So you want to start with your smallest one, and for me that's 2.5 millimeters in diameter. And then you'll work your way up to the 3 millimeter and the 3.5. And we want these little guys to sit right there and stop where this wire curves back around and meets our loop. And I kind of want the hammered portion up here above the smallest bead to be flared out enough that it stops these from sliding back up. So now that I'm kind of seeing that, I know that I want to hammer a little more here, a little more aggressively, just to flare that wire out more to stop these beads from sliding up like that. So I'm going to hammer that a little bit more. So that's what we're going for there. And then we're going to swoop this back around to make a little loop below, and that's where you would attach your necklace or bracelet chain on this other loop here. So we have something like that now. And with this little end here, I'm just going to put a little swirl in. Let me trim that off so we have a flush end. I want to put a decorative little swirl going this direction, so I'm going to swirl the end that way. So that's what we've got, and you can also hammer this lower portion if you want. That will give it a little bit more strength and keep it from opening back up. So I'll go ahead and do that. So that's what we've got. Let's go ahead and make the little loop portion that it goes into. So for that, pull out your 3-inch piece that we cut earlier. And we're going to start slightly off center here. And I'm just going to use the widest portion on my round nose pliers to put in kind of a teardrop shaped little loop right there. I like to compare it with my hook I've made and kind of mimic this shape right here to make it roughly the same shape and size. I just feel like that makes them match each other a little bit more nicely. There we go, and then we're going to do the same thing, threading these 3 beads onto this end so that they sit right here. So again, starting with our smallest one and working our way up to our largest bead. And we just want them to sit right there. So now that you're seeing where they're sitting, kind of make a mental mark, and we're going to hammer all along here and up to that point where the beads are sitting. So I'm going to back them up a little bit so they don't get flattened, and I'm going to hammer out that portion. So that's what we have now. And we're going to put in a little wrapped loop at the bottom. So I'm going to straighten out the longer tail and take the shorter one, bend it at 90 degree angles to it, and we'll wrap that around the base here. I'm going to put in 2 wraps. And you can trim off the excess. And tighten that tail on down on the back. And then we need to put a little loop in here with the other one, so taking it off to the side. And wrapping it on around. And I want this to be about the same length as the hook portion, so I'm going to flare this out and make more of a teardrop shape instead of a circle shape, just to kind of lengthen this out a little bit. And then we're going to wrap this little tail as well, just to secure everything off so that your hook and loop can't fall off your bracelet or your necklace chain. And again, trimming off that tail that we don't need. So there is your first set with the beads, and they hook together just like that. And you can use jump rings to attach your chain or bracelet to the ends here.